That was the most insane thing I've ever done in my life. So yes, me and my car survived the Altima 600 somehow. So I was looking for a ticket when he first opened it up, but it sold out in like, I don't know, an hour or two. About 3 weeks ago, before the race, I was looking to just buy a spectator ticket to go, my friends and have fun watching the race. I've been to a couple of events. It's always such a good time. I scrolled down to the tech cards to see if one was available, just to see. And it just so happens that it had a 0 instead of sold out. And I clicked on the drop down and there was a number one ticket. So I bought it and got started on the crazy adventure of competing in the Altima 600. This video is going to be about the journey from buying the car to driving home in the Altima after the race. If you want to see just the racing action, I'll link a video of the highlights in the top right corner and also leave a link in the description down below. One of the things that actually prompted me to look and see if a ticket was available was an Altima for sale at a tow yard on a road I travel all the time. So that was the one I went and looked at first. And it didn't look too bad, actually. There were just a couple problems under the hood. The first one was when he started it up, there was a nice sized rat that hopped out of the engine bay. That actually didn't mind too much because I would immediately have a name for the car, Jerry. The other problems really didn't make it a candidate because of being so close to the race. I wanted to find something running and driving that I didn't need to have to work on a ton and change parts and do things like that. The intake manifold was changed to an aftermarket air filter, and then the person at the yard said that the exhaust manifold was aftermarket. And I wanted to make sure I had the cats on there to follow the rules. That was going to be a bit too easy. So, now to Facebook Marketplace and see what we could find. And there were quite a few candidates. There's actually quite a bit of cheap Altimas for sale here in Florida. I ended up actually looking at a couple that were close to me. One was a really good candidate. It was traded in at a dealership and it sideswiped something. But I test drove it and it drove straight. The problem was it needed 4 tires and it was the 2.5 liter engine. And for the price, I think I could find something better within the next week. And I did. That's the one you're seeing today. It's a 2006 Nissan Altima with the 3.5 liter V6. And this one was at another used dealership. This one looked pretty good too. It actually has 4 brand new tires on it, which I think was a huge plus for this race because I figured tires would be a huge advantage if you had good tires. So we got in and test drove it. And it drove straight as well. It sounded good. Engine was strong. Transmission was shifting good. So we pulled the trigger with this one. It didn't have a check engine light on at the dealership, but when I got home, a couple codes came up for the catalytic converters. Now, we're less than 2 weeks away from the race, and I look around the car a little bit more and I find a torn boot. So I order that, and that night, I wake up in the morning and I come out to see the rear tire completely flat. So I take it to my favorite shop here in Orlando, Dynasty Automotive, and they get it up in the air, and we find a bit more rust than I previously thought it had, but nothing structural. We should be safe to run the race. So this is great. The only thing I've needed to repair so far is a tire with a patch. Now we're about a week away from the race, and I'm pretty confident in the car that it'll be able to drive there, and I'll be able to at least go out there and compete. But it didn't leave much time to figure out a paint scheme or anything like that. I've always loved the P40 Warhawk, the shark design that they had on there. So I went on Amazon to see if anyone was selling those stickers because I've seen them on other cars and stuff. And what do you know? They got a set for 40 bucks. So ordered that, headed over to Walmart to get oil and a filter. Where else do you go for oil for an Altima but Walmart? Once I got everything, me, buddy Bryan, and Pristine got to work on the car. And I want to shout out those two guys because they helped me prep the car a couple days before and came out on race day and helped a whole bunch. Definitely give those guys a follow. Buddy Bryan does great cars and coffee and racing content on his channels. And Pristine showed us the most amazing street car you could ever buy, a mid-2000s NASCAR Cup car. It's actually street legal, and we were there for the first time of him taking it out and checking out the car. So we got to work, put on the graphics at the shop, finished up the oil change. We took off the front and rear bumpers because there was a $500 bonus for the first Altima without both bumper covers. So just in case I was running up front, I wanted to have that extra $500 if I could. When we did that, we noticed that the radiator was pretty exposed. So what we did, we went to Tractor Supply, got us some metal fencing. We got the coated green fencing, which actually looked pretty good on the car. Blended pretty good on the front. And we also stopped at Walmart to get us some American flags, because you got to have an American flag next to the driver's name. And now it's race day. Car looks great. Had an uneventful drive over to the Freedom Factory. We pull on in, stage outside for a little bit, then we go in and get parked. Then we have our driver's meeting, which was a lot of people. There was like, I guess, 160 or so drivers, because we had 118 in the Altima race, and then you had 28 Rangers and another 20 or so Pro trucks. So it was a big group of people. Definitely the biggest driver's meeting I've been a part of. And since I was preparing to possibly drive home, I figured it was a good idea to take the headlights and taillights off, because I might need those later on, which I actually did, which came in handy. And it all leads up to this, the moment we start rolling out onto the Freedom Factory. And what do you know? I was in the first row that was going out onto the track. And I didn't know how they were going to line us up, if we were going to go in line, or if we were going to line up on the across in the front row there. And it just so happens that they did us across, and I was on the front row of the starting line for the Altima 600. I couldn't believe it. This is like a dream come true, to be starting out front of a race. And mind you, I don't do a lot of oval racing. I do more road course and go-karts. So this whole oval thing, I don't have much experience with. But we ended up getting off pretty good off the line. And we stayed in the top 10 for a good, 10, 20 laps. But tragedy struck after, I believe it was the second red flag, where I saw the engine start to overheat. The temperature gauge was spiking, and I saw the flashing check engine light, which I knew wasn't good. But I kept the car on, because I knew if I shut it off with the temperature spiked, it would heat soak and possibly hurt the engine even more if the engine was hurt. And luckily it cooled back down. The problem was, once I got going again, it was in limp mode. It did not want to go. It was really odd, because the check engine light flashed a few times, and then I did try to cycle the ignition on and off, but it stayed in this mode where you hit the accelerator and it only had 20% throttle, 30% throttle, something like that, and it wouldn't really shift smooth at the right times. It was a very odd experience. So if you guys know what this might have been or could have been, let me know in the comments so I can investigate further. What my suspicion is, which is why I talked about the catalytic converters earlier, is that it was possibly related to them, with the heat building up in the engine and the higher revs that they're stuck in, basically, with performance driving. Because the rest of the race, I just basically managed and kept the car to lower RPM, and it never overheated again. So before the next race, I may have to just change the catalytic converters out. I haven't put the code scanner on it, so that may show me something that may be related to what happened on track, to give me some clues onto what may have happened. So my dreams of winning, or at least being in the top 10 and getting some cash from the Freedom 500, were pretty much out the window. But there's one thing I wanted to do more than anything, and that's finish the race and drive home. So the rest of the race, I took my time and managed the car and managed the engine and the transmission as much as I thought I could, to be easy as I could be on it, while still going as fast as I could as the car would let me. And we ended up being able to finish the Altima 600, which is absolutely amazing.
All right, you finished it.
That was the most insane thing I've ever done in my life. That was crazy. And to start up front was absolutely amazing. I cannot believe it. Oh my God.
My goodness. Yeah, I mean, how about that? Starting up front.
And my car's still kind of in one piece.
You were running top 10 for the first 30 or so
Yeah.
laps. I mean, that was incredible. It really was.
At the beginning, it was great. It felt so good. And
Yeah, you looked. I mean, honestly, you looked amazing.
Yeah,
out there.
and
You really
it felt
did,
amazing.
so.
It looked amazing. The car, you know.
Oh, you lost your mirror.
I lost,
Oh my god!
This was on the
notice
finish.
that.
This was on start finish.
Oh, was it
At
really?
the finish line, yeah.
I
This
didn't
was the
even
last
notice.
lap.
Yeah, you got a
guys
couple
squeezed between
door
three of
dings
us.
here.
Dude, it sounds fine. It sounds.
Is it still running?
Yeah. It's still running. Dude, it sounds smoother than my car.
It's so smooth.
So I had someone like sideswipe me at the beginning of the race, like I don't know, like a quarter of the way through, and I heard something fly in and saw something fly into the car. And if you look down here, let me get my flashlight. You can see what that was, and it's something that came off of my car. Part of my mirror flew into my car in the
No
passenger
way.
seat. Yeah,
Whose is that?
it's mine.
Oh.
It's this one. It's the mirror.
Just a little duct tape.
That's
Well,
crazy.
I might. Yeah, we can duct tape. Oh, look, we can do forensics. Ready? We can learn if it's
Oh,
mine.
yeah, that's true.
Ready?
Oh,
Oh,
it's a
it's a
perfect
match. And at this point, I had no idea if this car was gonna last, especially drive home. Would you believe that the car fixed itself? It had no symptoms. It basically drove and shifted like it did at the beginning of the race and before the race on a drive over. So I thought I may just have to leave it there, right? And get a truck or something and tow it back home. But it stopped having symptoms. So as much as it was disappointing that I didn't get a better finish, but I still finished the race. Now I still get to drive home. So we made the decision to make the drive home with it and put on the headlights and taillights and send it. And wouldn't you know, she purred on the way home, and she got all the way home. I just have to say that this was such a amazing experience. I've been to Cletus's events. I've been to the Freedom 500 and the 2.4 hours of Le Mullets. I got a ticket for November, this coming up November, for Le Mullets. It's always such a good time, and to be a part of it and be a part of the show and be out there in front of the crowd, it was such an amazing experience. And I accomplished my goal, was just to finish the race. And in the beginning, I'm so happy that even with a car that was not prepped, but with literally basically zero prep, just a car off the street, to be able to be up there and kind of stick around the top end of the field was really awesome to feel and to be out there. So I'm shooting to get this car fixed up for the next one. I think this one's strong enough for the next one. We'll have to investigate the engine and what caused that overheating issue. And I'm hoping to be out there in January with either this car or another car if it needs to be another car. So look out for that. I'll be posting that highlights video here coming up probably the next week or so. And I just want to say a huge thank you to the Freedom Factory team for making this event really run really smoothly. All the safety crew that was out there, Cletus and his crew, all of the team that got all the transponders together. They had all the bags with all the race monitors for all the drivers. They bagged up like 100 of those things with a battery and Ziploc. So there was a lot of prep work. You know, when you're around racing, you understand and realize how much goes on, but people, you know, the general public doesn't really understand how much work it takes to get everything done and everything going. So I really appreciate all those people that did that. I appreciate all the people coming out and the crowd that was out there. because the energy is just so amazing out there when you're out there in front of out there on the racetrack in front of everybody.
Okay.
And a huge shout out personally from me to Buddy Bryan and to Pristine for all their help that last week of getting this car prepped. And thank you for watching. Look out for more content. See ya.